at 9 a.m. on January 29th, 2026. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Director Ellis. Here. Director Ewald.
Here.
Director Erpenbach.
Here.
Director Carey.
Here.
Director Graves.
Here.
President Esman.
Here. Quorum being present, this meeting will be called to order. Next item is introduction of guests and visitors. We have in the room our eighth reporter, Evelyn Piper from the Yellowstone County News, our general manager, Bo Anderson, and our assistant manager, Josh Simpson. Did Doug Carey drop off?
He's there. Doug, your camera's off.
Better for us.
And we have an individual joining us by Zoom. If you'd like to introduce yourself, you may do so now.
Does he have his mic on?
His mic looks muted.
Yeah.
No, both of them are muted.
Okay, well, welcome to the meeting. If you wish to be recognized, unmute yourself and please identify yourself.
Yeah, good morning. This is Brandon Fleury. I believe I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
What was his name?
Brandon
Fleury.
FLEURY.
Thank you.
Okay. Rick, I'll get through conduct of the meeting quickly. There are two opportunities for members of the public, our customers and employees, to make their voice heard on issues with the water district. The first is the next agenda item. Any member of the public may be heard on any subject that is not on the agenda. You will have one opportunity to speak, which is limited to 3 minutes. Please come to the lectern if you're present, so your comments may be recorded by the microphone and may be heard. Please identify yourself by name and address and spell your last name for the secretary. This is a good time to request items for consideration at future board meetings. The board will not engage in debate, but will attempt to provide brief answers to relevant questions. There is also an opportunity for you to be heard on the agenda items before a vote. The board president will acknowledge the public after a motion has been made and discussed by the board for their input. The president will recognize speakers who raise their hand. You may comment for up to 3 minutes. Each speaker will have only one opportunity to speak on any particular agenda item. So we move to item number 5, public comment and questions to the board on non-agenda items. Are there any this morning? Mr. Fleury? Ms. Byburn? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 6. No questions, so no responses. Move to item number 7, approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Direct motion to approve the agenda by Director Graves. Is there a second? Second by Ewald. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passed. Next item.
President Esman, can I just make a comment?
Sure.
My husband watched the January 21st meeting
Mhm.
yesterday. He had trouble hearing you and Greg.
Oh, really?
So just for information, because I think one microphone may not be enough, but if you could just be sure you speak up.
I will try to speak up.
Okay.
And if you want, Director Graves, if you want to move that microphone to be closer. There we go. Now it's probably in the middle.
It is adjustable as well. We can check it on.
That's
So that
fine.
next meeting.
Yeah, we'll keep working on it. Thank you
Okay.
very much. General Manager Anderson. Your report. I had emailed you with a few additional items to cover, so would you cover those in the order requested?
Yeah, you sent me an email on the 29th. 3 question, and I guess one was comments. And number 1 was the conflict resolution date training for our employees. That has been set for February 9. And Brian Peterson gave us a number of dates. And the reason for the February 9 date is that one of our employees, longtime employee, have reserved a cruise, so we could not change that date, so that was the answer to that.
Thank you.
Okay, number two, update on the GPS units. There are 2 trucks that remain to be hooked up. They're the Freightliner dump trucks. They're rarely used. And as far as I know, it's not the plug in play kind of the sandwich hookup like the other trucks. But they will be done. I don't know if you had scheduled it. We just talked about it the other day that we have to do it. So they are rarely used.
So can we get a date certain? Because that's the thing that happens is we don't get it, it just drags on forever.
I'll email you.
Okay, so, but it will be within the week, right?
Oh, yep. Depends on their schedule.
Are you intending to take it to the vendor that we approved?
Yeah.
Okay,
There is no intended reason for the delay, not other than that these 2 dump trucks are not used daily.
a little
And
more-
it's certainly not a vehicle they take out for a joyride, you know.
totally understand, but it is an asset we want to track, so thank you.
Yeah, no, it is on our schedule.
This is probably for the board or whoever, but, there's probably like 8 or 10 extra units gonna be left over. Who is gonna contact them, Sarah?
I'll volunteer to do that, cause I have to, now that we have. An approved policy manual for that and the vehicle use, I. Will get, he offered to provide advice and put me in contact with other similar. Organizations in terms of which of the 50 available reports might be useful. So I'll take care of that. When I'm going through that process.
You gonna stop in and see Steve to find out how much he's got there, cause I don't know, he's got a lot.
What he's provided me in the past was that they have not found it cost effective to have the items returned. So my suggestion is, Steve can hang on to them, cause there's all technology fails, so.
Yeah.
So, as long as
But
he's
you're
willing
gonna,
to
you're gonna
store 'em.
check on it to find out.
I'll find out both
Yeah,
ways.
I don't know if he's gonna wanna store them, but we can probably find someplace here.
And we got a big shed in the back, so. Okay, thank you. And there was one more item?
Number 3, implement the employee policy manual. So the employment manual as the board approved on January 21 have been printed and distributed to our employees for their scrutiny and signature. So that is the physical portion. And as you know, we had a little issue with standby. And we had several other comments to the handbook. None of us here were invited to make any comments to the handbook. But we made those, a couple of those. And they were sent to the board members. And most recently, following our supposedly informal meeting with Director Esmond and Erpenbach, when we were talking about the duties of the servicemen and the schedule. And I kind of outlined a proposal for changes to the handbook. The way it's written now, there's no reason for any serviceman to respond to an on-call serviceman needing help. So
Their loyalty to their fellow employees and the customers of the district would not be sufficient incentive.
I can't speak to that. I don't know what their loyalty is, but I'm just telling you what I suggested, and that was that we do have one more service truck in the field on standby. And I also outlined how the city does this. They pay their servicemen a fee for standby, doing nothing. And the on-call individual doesn't do anything. An on-call serviceman here gets 2 hours per day for the weekend to do what? He checks our SCADA system for alarms. He also does the chlorine residue tests a couple of sites. And that covers not all of the 2 hours, but a very large portion of that. Now, the city, they have separate people doing that sort of thing, the SCADA and their chlorine testing. We're a small operation. Our servicemen, they're all certified. The cities are not. So they do a lot more. They have more responsibility. And the way I had proposed this was that we have one more service truck in the field. The solving it the way the city did with a Teamster of paying a standby fee of $2 an hour. If you do the math, that particular individual will actually earn more money than the individual. So I have outlined that in a report to our board members. There were a few other comments that we had regarding seniority based on anniversary date and other than the calendar date. There was a number of issues. But in the interest of time, I have asked our employee, what is the number one issue that will affect the district? And by far, there was the service factor and the trucks. Now, I welcome any one of your individual taking a ride with one of our servicemen to see how comfortable these trucks are. These are trucks that you don't joyride. They have 600-700 pounds worth of equipment. And there is a reason for my request. And when I do request, I do expect that the board respond. And we have not received any response to our suggested changes to the handbook. In my book, very, very disappointing. Why? Because our crew are our most important asset of this organization. It's not the building, it's not the pipe, it's not the pumps, it's how it works.
Can I do a
Makes
point
it
of
work.
order?
Yes, you may.
This information was not included in the agenda packet, so, that's one that you sent to us. Factually, the city has 36,000 meters, and they have one person takes a truck home and 5 more are on call. So that's one person for every 6,000 meters. We have 6,000 meters, one truck is adequate. But actually we can't deal with it because it wasn't submitted 48 hours prior to the meeting to the public. So you've shared it, but this is not the point to be making changes.
Well, we
We've got-
can deal with it at a future meeting, and I do have a question for the general manager, and that is, are there? We could have, let's say so basically right now, if our employees are getting roughly 60,000 a year in terms of salary, so it's about roughly $30 an hour. Some of the long-term people are making more. So for their on-call week, they get $60 roughly plus.
I'm gonna ask, so it's more like 90.
90, okay, and the city people at $250 an hour for the 16 hours that they're not on the payroll, that'd be about $40 a day, right? Times 7, $280. So I guess I see the math there. Are there what kind of situations would require two people? Two service people? To respond?
Okay,
Do you have any valves, for example, that would require two people to respond to turn off if there was a major break in Main Street?
so in my report, I gave an example. From last weekend. We had one serviceman on call. And a fire hydrant was hit. And a fire hydrant repair requires two servicemen. I don't know if you ever picked up a fire hydrant, but it requires two people. Now, we are operating under the new manual. So who does this serviceman call? So
Would that be,
it's
wouldn't that be a
good for-
question for you to determine in terms of your day-to-day responsibilities?
Well, I'm in charge of operation, but you, the board, have interfered with the service factor of this community by not outlining what a serviceman can do when he runs into a fire hydrant that was hit by a car. Who does he call?
Calls you, and then you decide who you're gonna call. You're the manager, you're responsible, you're them employee.
So this individual called Josh. He's in charge of our operation. And he was at Costco. So he had his personal car and he went to the site, I believe. He's sitting right here. Would you take it from here?
Hey, called, said fire hydrant on the end of Jackie been hit. Needed help loading it, getting it back to the shop, so. I drove from Costco to the site, helped him load it, came down here, we unloaded it. Got stuff prepped to repair it. And. That was it.
Okay, so under the old scenario, we would have had a guy there in half the time, at least half the time. And it would not have been an issue. But because of this new policy that does not outline who's on standby. And I consider this part of operations. You decide what should be done. You decide what should be. I decide how should be done. You understand? And there is a difference there. So this 15 minutes response time sets a performance number on our operation. And it could interfere with the response time. And this hydrant just happened to be this past weekend. Tonight might be something else. So who do you call? And according to the board, just call the general manager and he'll figure it out. That is not how the city works. If they have 39 meters or not, I'm talking about serving the Heights water community.
Thank you.
And we got,
Director Ewald, you had a question for the general manager?
Well. I think it says in here that. They work 40 hours a week or whatever, but hours are dependent. So if you have a big blow up. Isn't everybody responsible to respond if they're called?
that's not what a handbook said.
Yes, it does.
You got five field guys. When crap hits the fan. The only person that's gonna be there is the one. Because everybody else's truck is in the yard here and they can't drive their personal car over here and get their truck and go in and respond. Just because it's in the yard. That's not an excuse for me. They still, if crap hits the fan, it's an all-out call out. If you need a second person. You can set it up to where the guy that was on standby last week or on call out is gonna be the first person to call it. If something happens for the next week. It's not rocket science. It's just a fight against the program that got set up. And how often does that happen when you need more than one person to go out?
Well, statistically speaking, I would assume most call out are a one person.
There we go, that's the deal, and so you set it up to, if the person was on call last week, they're on standby this week. And then the next week, the person who was on call this week will be on standby next week. And if that crap really hits the fan, everybody's on a call out.
So Frank, that means that 50% of their time, they're on standby or they're on call. During a month, almost 50%.
I'm saying they're the person that gets the first call. Now, if that was something real important, and Josh is manager of the employees and he's out at Costco, how long does that take to get from Costco out here if it was something really important? You couldn't call somebody else to say, hey, we need a hand. If they get called out, it says right in there, you get called out, it's a minimum of 2 hours, right? Overtime?
2 hour overtime, more than that.
In this case, there was no one else to call. We have the guy that lives closest is on vacation.
And
The other guy, the next closest guy was the guy on call. Other than that, you have 3 guys that are outside your 15-minute per Google Maps standard.
There are two guys outside the 15-minute.
Yeah,
Two. We've looked it up, we've got the data.
well, you can go drive from Adam's house to here and see how fast you can make it. It's
Well,
not
Google-
14 minutes.
Google says it is, so that's our standard.
Do you
Google
know
knows
Adam,
all.
did you know Adam moved?
No,
Are you gonna keep track of that when they move?
you have to, that's your job.
Yeah, but
We've set the
I got
standard.
it. You set the standard, you set the policy, the
Right.
15 minutes,
Well,
I have to make it work, right? Correct.
so we're just gonna go in circles here
Yeah.
this morning, and we can't take any action on it. My suggestion is we'll make this an agenda item at the next meeting. I want a specific suggestion from you, sir.
Yeah.
If you need a 20-minute timeline instead of 15, I want you to suggest it. If you want a specific, you want a change in the on-call pay rate policy, I want you to suggest something specific. This board can take a look at it, react to it. You know, we can have the public comment on it. You know, bring us something specific this besides worst case scenarios. You know, I could see if there's a major break on Main Street that blows out the crossing into town, that it's gonna be an all hands on deck situation.
Right.
And if you need us to rewrite our manual policy, so that's included in there and everybody understands that that's the policy, we'll do it, or you can do it yourself in terms of your employee procedure thing that you're working on that you told us about. So bring us a specific proposal. We're not unreasonable people. But, you know, I don't think we want to waste any more time this morning on that issue.
But,
So,
you know, I already did this in my January 27 meeting, attachment C. Clearly spells out exactly what I want.
well,
It's exactly what I want. And this would work.
we'll add it to the next agenda item, General
Okay,
Manager. Thank you.
thank you.
Let's move to old business. Item A, resolution concerning rate negotiation with the water provider. And I have a motion.
I move to approve the resolution concerning rate negotiations with the water provider.
Is there a second?
second,
Motion by Ellis, second by Erpenbach. Is there discussion? Everybody had a chance to read it. Any comment from the members of the public? Seeing none, the I did review that short 2-page Nexus summary of their review, so.
Yeah,
Everything that, and it was posted on our website, so. Let's try a voice vote since there's no discussion. All those in favor of adopting the resolution concerning the rate negotiation indicate by saying aye.
I,
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. I'll prepare a brief letter directed to the city manager with respect to the resolution as directed. Item number B, yes, sir.
So, cease and desist, any extra time by Rep. Tillis.
I think our general manager's already taken care of that.
Okay.
Well, I think the resolutions
It's the resolution.
says that,
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure that
Yeah,
Rep. Tillis knows that we don't get a few windshield times or something from him, because he has to go and blow something out, that's.
no, he has been forewarned.
Okay,
Okay.
that's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, item number B, resolution concerning posting a preliminary feasibility study on consolidation of the water delivery service. I have a motion.
That's the final, you
The preliminary feasibility
know,
study,
one from M&M.
yes, that was delivered. Yeah,
Yeah,
it has expired by its terms,
Yep.
so
I don't post it, terms expired, so.
is there a second?
I'll
second it, Mr. President.
Okay. Motion by Ewald, second by Carrie. Is there discussion? Director Ellis.
there also is at least technical report 4 and 5, which I know the general manager referenced one of those reports in his email to us this week. That seems like that needs to come out along with the consolidation study. I don't know if there's technical reports 1, 2, and 3. Those I haven't seen, but I've seen 4 and 5.
Well, that. I wasn't aware of those.
I sent them to you this morning, but
Well,
yeah,
it hasn't, that hasn't been posted,
okay.
so we can take it up at the next meeting.
Okay, so is it, the consolidation committee hasn't met for a long time, but maybe you could somebody could ask Debbie, do technical reports 1, 2, and 3 exist?
I'll try to find out
Okay,
where we're at.
okay,
Next week's or last week, I've been informed. So,
February 7th.
yeah, so. And so I'll try to get that information, then consider that for inclusion in the February agenda item. Do you have any, I had sent you another communication to our customers and members of the public by email, and it distributed it this morning. How do you feel about adding that as a preface to that preliminary feasibility study? Because there's been a lot of questions about the process. An accusation that we're gonna push something through without public hearing, and I'd like to respond to those in advance, frankly.
well, I just read it quickly. My only concern is, I'm not sure we need another CIP. At this point in time, and that kind of references a possible. But I do think that I like really the way that you laid out the phases, because I think that's really important.
We can discuss. Well, let's just, if you want to, let's go discuss that. That item number C, and then come back to that preface. Is that okay with you guys? Okay, so. So here's why I want to discuss it. You know, I don't think consolidation is a foregone conclusion. My guess is it's a 50-50 situation. Maybe or less. I think this district needs to be prepared. Well, I think we need a PER and a CIP for two reasons. Number one, we do have another rate case coming in a couple of years. We have, in order to participate properly in that rate case, we are required to provide growth estimates to the city of Billings prior to their rate consideration. We know that the growth rate that was provided to them the last go round was wildly inflated. You know, our growth rate in the district was estimated to be 1.8%, which is 2.5 times what the city's growth rate is in that last rate case, which is 0.8%. And it's about double, you know, it's more than, it's almost 50%, it's almost 100% higher than what our historical growth rate has been, which is 1.0 to 1.1. So I think just for the rate case, if nothing else, we need to get a new CIP with with the correct population estimate prepared for the next rate case, because that's gonna come one way or the other.
Faster than you think.
Yes. It'll
It's
be,
gonna-
Year
it's
and a
gonna
half
come
away.
so,
March
and
or
then,
April.
and then also, you know, at least Mr. Engel's review of our existing PER, or, you know, identified a lot, from their perspective, a lot of deferred maintenance that we gotta deal with. You know, some of them are very big ticket items. I'd like to get a good evaluation of those big ticket items, to see if there's any potential savings that could reduce their cost. You know, either through how they're done, when they're done, etc. So, you know, we've got a lot of catching up to do, and the question is how and when and who's gonna pay for it. So I think would be a wise investment for those two reasons. So that's why I wanted to put it on discussion today, so you know, we can get going on that, because if we don't consolidate, we still have the same physical challenges to deal with in terms of the condition of our assets. Director Evil.
So. Bo or Josh, do you guys know how many miles of AC pipe we have under gravelled streets rather than blacktop streets?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Could you find that out for us? Because that is pretty important, especially with the fact that the city is trying to eliminate gravel streets because of the maintenance. So they're pushing to get them blacktop. Well, it would make sense to replace AC pipe before the blacktop goes in. And the way I understand it, Lewis's CIP took into consideration, this is all blacktop streets, curb, gutter, and sidewalks that need to be replaced. So for 4.6 million, you get 1.5 miles. That's probably just about close to double what Interstate Engineering had figured cost per mile. So if you look at it, they're looking at 4.6 million a year. That's $60 for every meter in this per month in this district. $60. So the first 2 years, they got 12.8 million to do Main Street and some other stuff. That comes up to $172 a month for every meter in this district. And you can't get it all in grants, I'll guarantee you that. And so we're gonna have some big charges coming out. And it has to be done. There's never been anything, no replacement ever, and you gotta get started sometime. So once we get started, it just keeps going.
There has been a replacement.
Director has,
Yes.
yeah, in anticipation of this discussion, I put together this report. I sent it yesterday afternoon, so you probably don't have it. But it takes up the discussion of the CIP. The current one, the $35 million one. And then it shows the priority of these projects. An updated version of our CIP, the way we look at it right now, and the CIP, modified CIP that was used in the consolidation study. That CIP, modified CIP, is the one that Travers and Lewis worked on. And we summarized all this and we put in items that we already have done that was not reflected in Lewis and Travers' work. So as far as the facts where we are right now, it's pretty much captured in this report. Now, Lewis and Travers, they put in that $7.1 million over the 7 years that we had proposed to the board. I think it was 1.2. Why? You do the math. Our cash flow will not permit more than spending that. Our debt service right now is $750,000 a year. And the original SRF loans were $5 million. And we pay down about 50%, not close, I think quite 50%. So you double the debt, it becomes a problem. So as far as spending $12 million year one, some $40 million over this 10-year period, it's very simple. You do the math, we can't afford it. And right up front, you have the consolidation fees, and I highlighted those in yellow, so you know the board knows what the entry fee with joining the city would be.
Well, that hasn't been proposed to us yet, Bo, so.
No,
No, we don't know
in
what,
the
we
report.
have not had a specific proposal from them, so we do not know what their proposal is gonna be, so please don't misrepresent that. But I do think we need to, assuming consolidation does not occur, I do think we need to get something prepared that is accurate, that we can take a look at what it's gonna cost if we don't consolidate, because that's equally as likely, in my opinion. So I think it's time to get going on it, if you all agree.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank and I'll take another run down there to Morrison Mayerly. We'll take Bo with us with regard to that, and we'll get going on it. So is it okay then if we put the preface before the preliminary feasibility study then?
Well, I will vote no. I just think I think Lewis was very clear that he felt we didn't need a CIP. The 1.2 million a year is that Bill was talking about is in addition to the 1 million he proposed to put in his cellular connections, is in addition to the 24 million that Interstate recommended in the next 5 years. So I realize that the cellular and none of the other infrastructure ideas from Interstate are considered valid, but a 1.2 million is not adequate. That's the way it is. In the Excel spreadsheet, Lewis lays out a 90-year replacement plan, 100-year replacement plan, and 110-year. We've got to get on a replacement plan. And yes, our rates are going to skyrocket. We know that because we haven't done an adequate job of infrastructure, but the city has gone back to Nexus and is asking them to look at the rates if we consolidate and if we don't consolidate. So I just think it's premature to do a CIP at this point. We need to see that rate study. Nexus has been given the data, they're working on it. Lewis has basically rejected everything that Interstate recommended. We can certainly figure out how much of our infrastructure is under gravel, which is cheaper than to replace the AC pipe, but obviously more expensive because people then have to pay to pave the road but that doesn't come under our rates. So I just think it's premature, and I don't know that Morrison Mayerly is willing to do it at this point.
Well,
That's what we gotta go
That's what we
talk to them
gotta
and
go-
find out.
yeah, I don't see any advantage in waiting, Pam. I
Well-
don't, because if it doesn't go forward, then we've lost 6
More
months,
years.
9 months, a year. You know, I just as soon get started now.
But the original plan
Both
was to,
cases.
was to do it for, to qualify for the loan, and we haven't updated to qualify for a loan. And we qualify at a lower rate than the city does. So again, that makes sense to understand with the city if we take out a loan. We know that Hawthorne to Bitterroot is gonna be worked on Wicks. Wicks, Hawthorne to Bitterroot, so we know we need to get that in next year's budget and replacement, but we're gonna need to do probably more than that for AC pipe replacement.
Well, we've communicated with Mr. Fogelson on that item
Okay.
already, so I think we're in good shape there, but. Well, I sense the majority of the board, with the exception of Director Ellis, is ready to move forward to visit with Morrison Mayerly again to see if we can revive that effort in terms of preparation.
The more information we have for the ratepayers, better off we are.
Yeah. I would just as soon be able to answer the question versus saying, well, we're gonna have to go look at it. So thank you very much. I appreciate your comments, Director Ellis. Okay, so what about that preface? And if we add that then? With your, noting your objections, Director Ellis.
We don't, that has to be a separate vote, right? Because we don't have,
Well, it's a means of communication. It's not
Well,
an action item that the public needs to comment.
yeah, just
because it's a
include the
means of
resolution that we
communication.
have a motion on.
Right. You have a comment?
I just want to bring to the attention to the board that we did receive a email from Curtis saying that doing it CIP at this point possibly would be
That
a
would-
waste.
That was 2 weeks ago, Bo. I got the email.
Right,
So.
But I think that
we're gonna
we're-
go visit with them again.
right, fine, but I
And
just
you're
want to
coming
make
with
sure.
us when I
Yeah.
get it scheduled.
Okay, no problem.
Because you have committed in writing to fully cooperate with the preparation if they do it, correct?
That goes without saying. I work on the pleasure of the board, so.
Thank you
do
for
not
making that
question
clear. That will, they raised that concern.
You should probably take Josh because of how long's our replacement gonna be for Bo, find a new general manager. And he's done in March, and Josh should be part of the loop on this stuff, don't you believe?
That's. I'll discuss that with Frank and Morrison Mayerly. Thank you for the suggestion. And we do have that takes us to new business, which is the next item, which is,
No, we haven't voted on.
We haven't voted yet.
on the resolution. Oh, that's,
One.
I thought we had
No,
Okay.
None of them?
to post the preliminary feasibility study.
Oh. We skipped over that, huh?
Sorry, well, we skipped to discuss the CIP and then now we're back. So thank you for getting us back on track.
You need to post that,
I think we have a legal obligation to do it.
yeah, and I'll stop getting phone calls.
Okay. Okay, let's move to a vote. All those in favor of adopting the resolution to post a preliminary feasibility study, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, can I have a motion to post the preface to the preliminary feasibility study? I'll make the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Is there a discussion?
You're talking about this.
I am. Director Ellis has noted her objection. She'll be a no vote.
who was the second on that one?
Graves. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those nay.
No,
Okay. Motion to post the preface prior to the preliminary feasibility study approved 5-1. Okay, now new business. Resolution to appoint a search committee for the new general manager. Is it? I have a motion.
make a motion.
Thank you, Director Ellis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Erpenbach. Is there a discussion? Director Ellis.
I think it's important for the committee to finalize the job description and a posting Cause we can get it in right away to Montana Rural Water Association, to AAWA. Although one of the members here will have to post it. Montana Rural Water Association will let a board member post it. And there is a third site that the city used, and I've asked Debbie Milling what that site is, but I think we should get that out immediately and possibly put it in the Yellowstone County News. That doesn't require. And then we can do, the city has been looking for a replacement for one of their engineers that they consider an equivalent position to the general manager for 6 months and hasn't had any applicants. So they're now going with the search committee. So I think it will take some time to do a search committee, but it's also possible that there would be somebody within, if you get the notice out that there's possible, because our position is not exactly the same as the city, that we would get an application just from getting the notice posted at sites that don't cost us money. I know your thing about Indeed and all that, those are worthless, absolutely worthless postings, but
But I sent a report about the AWWA sites and also links to the Montana AWWA and rural water and that whole community.
yeah.
It's a small community.
Well, there's 800 districts, so it's fairly
Yeah.
large, but yeah, and they're really helpful about posting. And AWWA, one of you will have to post. You would have a membership.
Yeah.
Clay and Josh have memberships. And in the past, the staff didn't get that done when we asked them to, so we just need to make sure it gets done.
Yeah, whatever you want us to do, we'll do that. So if you have a committee, I'll be more than happy to work with you. And I also did an outline of the job description. I think that is perhaps more accurate than the one I had. I just try to help the committee to outline.
Did you email that job description you worked up to all of us, or?
Yeah, I sent it to the board. I'll resend it, and also the links to various headhunters. Some of the headhunters you can get, or we typically pay 20 or 30% of the first year's salary. So you gotta be careful, but the water and wastewater community is not a very large community. Everybody know each other in that community. And I do not recommend do not hire somebody who has been in the wastewater area for at least 5 years, because you're wasting your time. You might look good, dance well, but you need somebody who has the background.
Well, and I would like the committee as well, just to survey a number of the headhunter firms, just to see what they would charge. It may be a reasonable expense, it might not be, but it'd be a point of discussion that we could look at if. Depending upon, what kind of response we get, I do think we need to get going on it, as Director Graves pointed out, so. Is there further discussion? Is there discussion from the public? Mr. Fleury? Director Carey?
None for me.
None for me.
Thank you. Well, let's move to a vote. All those in favor of adopting the resolution, appoint a search committee for the new general manager, indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. So items for future board meetings we discussed today would be,
President.
yes,
So we made a motion to adopt the search party committee.
Yes.
But who's on the committee?
I'm gonna.
That should be probably appointed today so we can hit the ground running.
Let's do this. Why don't, if you're interested, send me an email today. I'll make the appointments tomorrow and and I'll appoint a chairman and whoever's on it can get started. Okay? Thank you for the reminder. So. Okay. So items for future board meetings, we're gonna get a specifics from the GM on, an on-call option we'd like to have considered. And the reasons for it, including costs. And need. What else did we discuss?
We need to know the status of the audit contract. Yes.
What
The
happened?
audit contract, I'm getting really
Oh.
nervous.
I emailed our attorney yesterday saying
Okay,
that's the only pending item I'm aware of that's before him right now, and we needed it. So we could get that thing executed and get it going.
yeah, yeah, cause
I-
otherwise
been
I think.
I've been communicating weekly and haven't gotten anything.
I
back.
know,
So. So I
Okay.
tried to elevate it,
okay,
and I'll call again today.
okay.
Thank you.
And Bo, you had offered to answer the questions I asked at the last board meeting and you haven't done that. So can I get a commitment from you about when you'll get it done?
What is that?
I asked you several questions from the balance sheet and you wrote it down and said you'd communicate, you didn't.
All the 401k stuff and those
Yeah.
line items, it's food.
I can pull the questions out and email them to you again, but
401k payable, 401k profit share, bank service charges. And stuff.
yeah, why the bank service charges are.
Is that in the minutes? So I can go back to them.
I don't know, but you wrote it down and said you would respond and you
It was
didn't.
those three things.
And Josh knows what they are.
On the, that was on the balance sheet.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I asked you for confirmation that you had reimbursed the district for the condolence flowers and said you were going to do it, but I didn't see any confirmation. So can we get the confirmation, the copy of the check or the
That
copy?
was done.
But can we see it?
Of course, if you ask me, you can.
I did ask you and I didn't see, and I didn't get a response. So I'm asking you today, can you do that? And can you give me a date certain that you can get those things done?
Thank you. Mr.
Can I get-
Anderson, is there? I thought we discussed another item that I was gonna put on the agenda for February. The on-call question.
Was addressing the handbook.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
that would. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they're related, yeah, okay. Okay, and feel free to email me. Cause we'll have to get to work on that meeting here soon, so.
You gonna?
I will be,
Curtis, or you want me?
I'll contact them. They gave my heads up tomorrow that we were discussing it and I'd call them if the board approved.
I'll be.
I said early in the
I'll
week,
be around till Wednesday.
I told them Monday or Tuesday, work fast. Okay, Director
You interrupted.
Ellis,
The one thing
Yeah.
that Brian asked us to do was to give the general manager a date certain that he needed to respond, because he doesn't tend to ever get back to us. So I asked him for a date certain and then we went on. What is the date certain that you can answer those three questions?
Well.
by the next board meeting,
Sure,
okay,
that should not
thank
be a
you.
problem.
Okay,
If, or prior to that, if you
Yeah.
get to it. Okay. It's. Next board meeting will be February 18th, 2026 here at 6 P.M. Let's hope it's at 6 to 8, not 6 to 9. Any further announcements for the good of the order? Okay, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 9:55.
This is an hour.